Tommy Stokke and Jack Magruder here with FanRag Sports in Nashville, Tennessee at the Winter Meetings. Jack's been coming here for 10 years now.
Something like that.
What's your favorite part about it? I mean, you've been to Nashville before. What about the host city here that you like the most?
Well, the best part about this place is that it's self-contained. I think I've been here 3 years and I've never left the building. I don't know if that says more about me or anything else, but it's an all-inclusive resort here. All the GMs, all the agents, some of the players show up. It's a great way to get business done, all the GMs here. It's just wall-to-wall baseball, and if you like that, it's kind of fun.
And if you wanted a way out, I'm not sure you could find one because this place is like a zoo and you need it's like a maze to figure out where you're going from here. A lot of news happening, obviously, a lot of names on the market. One of the big names before the meeting started, Zack Greinke going to the Diamondbacks. With your history covering Arizona, what's a move like that mean for that team?
Yeah, that's quite a deal, Tommy. That's an impressive deal. It reminds me a lot of the summer or the winter of 98 into the 99 season when they signed Randy to a gigantic deal. Also added Todd Stottlemyre, Armando Reynoso, Greg Swindell, Greg Colbran, basically reloaded to make a run at the title. This is obvious what they're doing again here, reloading at the top of the rotation. Everybody knows pitching wins. With a guy like Greinke at the top and with the offense they have right now with Goldschmidt, Pollock, the young kids they have, and the Enciarte, Peralta, all of a sudden it elevates them into contention. Now there's a lot to be done still at the winter meetings. We'll see how the teams shake out when they get to spring training. But this kind of trade also invigorates the fan base. I mean, I'm sure they've had a lot of calls about season tickets, and they're looking forward, obviously, to next year. Now the Diamondbacks aren't done, but just getting Greinke is a great start.
They went for a lot more with Randy Johnson and all those other pieces. How many more pieces do they really need, and where do they go to find them?
Yeah, I think they'll certainly, their mission, even after Greinke is adding another starting pitcher here, I think they'll at least make headway there. Sometimes these deals don't get done until after they're out of here. Relief pitching is also something they want to deepen. Dave Stewart has said Brad Ziegler could stay in the closer role, and certainly he could, if they can beef around him, make that bullpen a little deeper. Tony La Russa loves a bullpen, a good, strong, durable, multifaceted bullpen. He used to bring 3 left-handers in to when the Cardinals came into Phoenix, so they could do something that way. I think they're going to. They talked a lot about to Mike Leake. I'm not sure if they quite have the money to acquire a free agent right now. Kenta Maeda was on their radar earlier. Not sure if they want to get into that mix. He's going to cost a team $20 million just to talk to him, and then you sign the contract. That's kind of a double whammy. But you've got a lot of guys out there, trade candidates. Shelby Miller has been mentioned. Jose Quintana has been mentioned. Even Jose Fernandez from Miami. I think that would be a stretch. I'm not sure if the D-backs have the pieces to get him. If you added him, that's a Kershaw-Greinke rotation right there.
One of the names kind of thrown around in those trade talks for some of those bigger names, A.J. Pollock. There's no way that they move him, right?
Sure doesn't seem like it. I mean, I talked to a scout last night who said he would be stunned if Pollock was traded. I think that's the industry feeling right now. You don't trade a guy like A.J. Pollock who has just reached the top of his game. He's 3 years of control. He doesn't cost you an arm and a leg for the next 3 years. Hits with power, runs, defends well. If you trade A.J. Pollock, you're always looking for an A.J. Pollock, so I don't think it makes much sense.
If Pollock was on the market, obviously he'd be one of the biggest names available, so I don't really see that happening either.
Yeah.
You look at the offensive market, and it's been stagnant so far. A lot of people waiting on Jason Hayward to sign. He's the biggest name out there. Another guy that a lot of people have their hands in, Ben Zobrist. You've got the Nationals involved. You've got the Mets involved, the Giants. The Dodgers talked with him last night. I don't think he stays West Coast. His biggest priority is winning. The Braves want him. The Braves won't go to 4 years with him, and the Braves aren't winning anytime soon. So that doesn't seem like a fit. The one team to keep an eye on for Ben Zobrist that I'm hearing is the Chicago Cubs. If they're able to move Starlin Castro, he's a guy that they'll go for, and Ben Zobrist would want to play for Chicago, play for Joe Maddon and the Cubs. Your thoughts on Zobrist and how his market shakes out?
Right, I think you hit the nail on the head. He's the kind of guy that really can impact in a lot of ways a contending team. He can play second. He can play the outfield. He puts the ball in play. He's a winning ball player. His clubhouse mentality fits well. You know, he's a good teammate. And his versatility, especially these days with teams catching, with 12 pitchers on a roster, teams keeping 12 pitchers on a roster, easy for me to say. He's much more valuable because he can move around, he can double switch in the National League, he can play all sorts of spots. So I think, you know, he doesn't draw the attention that a guy like Cespedes or Justin Upton or those guys. But I think he's just as valuable a teammate, and I think teams understand that and definitely want to have him on their roster.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get a 4-year deal, and a lot of dominoes will fall, at least middle infielder-wise, after he signs wherever that is. I would expect it to be this week. Jumping back to Hayward real quick, he's obviously the big one left with Greinke and Price off the market. It's all about Hayward and where he signs. Where do you see him ending up?
Well, I think he'll land in the West Coast. I know there's a lot of talk about different spots throughout the country. Artie Moreno has a lot of money in Los Angeles. They had not a very good offense in Los Angeles last year. He'd be a perfect fit in that outfield. He'd give them 3 Gold Glove outfielders. They'd be an embarrassment of riches in outfield with Cole Calhoun, Mike Trout, and Hayward. At the same time, the Giants also need an impact outfielder, and they're never afraid to make a big play. Even after signing Samardzija, if they could land a guy like Hayward to solidify their offense, that would be a big plus. I mean, do you have enough money? He's going to cost a lot of money. He's going to cost upwards of perhaps $20 million a year. You know, you got to fork over a lot of dough for that, but what you're getting in return is a 26-year-old exceptional athlete. He'll hit 18 home runs. He'll steal 15 stolen bases, steal 15 bases. He'll drive in 75 runs, and he's such an athletic player. He's such a great defensive player with a strong arm.
He's one of those guys that really can fit in anywhere, and that's why his market's going to go up. And you mentioned 26 years old. I can't imagine the Yankees standing as pat as they say they're going to. I think that they're going to kind of come out of nowhere. They say that they're not going to spend money, but if the Yankees were ever going to spend a ton of money and it was going to make sense, it's a 26-year-old corner outfielder that can play center if needed, that you're paying for his best years. You're not paying for what he's already done in the past. So I can't see the Yankees sitting out, and I think that they come out of nowhere and steal him. But there's a lot to talk about this week. We'll be here all week. Stay tuned to FanRag Sports and today's Knuckleball for the latest at the winter meetings.